welcome back to my channel, and specifically to the All About Hamlet series. We are launching into Act 2, Scene 2 today, which is, on the one hand, a little bit intimidating because that thing is beastly and amazing. It has many parts to it. In fact, I've broken it up into 7 parts. I'm going to deal with the first 4 today, and I'll deal with the next 3 next week. So, for those of you who are looking for a specific part, this is what I'm going to be covering. I will cover when Rosencrantz and Guildenstern get to the palace. I'm going to cover the ambassadors, Polonius' guess about Hamlet's madness, and Hamlet and Polonius having that interesting scene. But the 3 parts after that, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern with Hamlet, the players, and Hamlet's second soliloquy will all be next week. So let's dive in, shall we? I have my trusty book with me, and I'm ready to go. So Rosencrantz and Guildenstern arrive at the palace. I like to think of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern in a couple of different ways. They are the frat buddies of Hamlet. Technically not. I guess that would be Horatio, because they went to school together. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern grew up with Hamlet when he was a child, but still they have that vibe. They are, they have some dirty humor. They're more about having fun, all that sort of thing. They're like the Timon and Pumbaa of the original Hamlet, or I guess you could switch that around as well. They are sometimes even referred to by a singular verb. Where is Rosencrantz and Guildenstern? Which technically is incorrect, but they're like a package deal, these guys. And so, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern come to Elsinore because the king and queen have said Hamlet is having a terrible time. He's clearly lost it a bit. So if you could come and do 2 things for us. 1, figure out what afflicts him. So what's his problem? And 2, lead him on to delights, so make him feel better, then we'll pay you pretty handsomely. So Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are into that. I mean, that's a pretty sweet deal. The problem is Hamlet's their friend, so are they betraying him by accepting money? Honestly, I don't think so, because they don't know that the king is involved in this murder plot at all, and they grew up with Gertrude because she knows their names. Let me show you. There's a part when Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are about to leave. The king says, "Thanks, Rosencrantz and gentle Guildenstern." And the queen says, "Thanks, Guildenstern and gentle Rosencrantz." In every stage and movie version that I've seen of Hamlet, and there have been quite a few, the king gets the names wrong, and the queen corrects him, which is pretty hilarious. I love it. They are practically interchangeable, but the queen knows them. That's the point. Brief aside, if you have not read this play, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are Dead by Tom Stoppard, you should definitely check it out. There is the scene that I just mentioned in here, but then you see from Rosencrantz and Guildenstern's point of view what they feel, which is just identity crisis, hilarious madness. So just shout out to this book for being awesome. Okay, continuing on. After they leave, Polonius comes in. Remember the last time we saw Polonius in Act 2, Scene 1, he was comforting Ophelia because Hamlet was acting super weird around her, and Polonius' guess was that he is mad for love, which is just the stupidest thing I've ever heard, unless that love is crazy town. Well, I guess it would be. So Polonius comes in to tell him that, but he says, "Hang on, I will tell you why Hamlet's crazy, but first, let's bring in those ambassadors you sent out in Act 1, Scene 2, the ones who are going to deal with Fortinbras from Norway, who has been gathering that army to attack. Hopefully that all went well with the ambassadors you sent out." In the interim, there is, a part where the king and the queen both guess the cause of Hamlet's madness. There are 3 theories throughout the book. The second one is right here in Act 2, Scene 2, when the king says that it's his father's death that's made him feel this way. And his mother agrees but adds something else which is really interesting. She says, "I think it is no other but the main, his father's death, and our o'er-hasty marriage." Now the word "o'er-hasty" is really telling. You wouldn't say, "Oh yes, our over-hasty marriage," if you were super confident in that marriage. So there's something going on there. The queen's having doubts, and she's also the closest to figuring out why Hamlet is acting insane. Really, the true reason is probably the most insane, that he's doing this as part of a plot to take out Claudius. Oh, I should probably put that spoiler thing up now, in case you haven't read this far, but you should have You should have. Ultiman and Cornelius, the ambassadors, come back. Their names aren't super important because they're just ambassadors only in this scene. And they come with really good news, they think, which is, okay, let's just imagine for a second you're the king of Denmark and you get this news. Fortinbras, the one who was raising that army, well, when we sent a letter to his uncle, the king, telling him what was up, the king brought Fortinbras in, said, you better stop that nonsense, sonny. And Fortinbras does. The king is so pleased with his obedience that he starts giving Fortinbras all this money, and then they both think, they look at each other, that is the king of Norway and Fortinbras. They look at each other and think, well, we have this army raised. If we're not going to attack Denmark, who can we attack? Why not Poland? Remember in Act 1, Scene 1? Maybe not, but if you have not seen Act 1, Scene 1, the video, check it out. Nobody likes Poland, and nobody explains why. So what the ambassadors come back with is this request. This is where you pretending to be the king of Denmark comes in. Comes back with this request. Is it okay if Fortinbras just takes his army through Denmark on the way to Poland? Is that okay? Now what would you say? You would say no, because that is just the most... But Claudius thinks this is a great plan. What could possibly go wrong? Everything, Claudius. Everything could go wrong. I admit he has some leadership qualities, Claudius does, but here they seem to all completely fall apart. Yes, say that is fine. They can just march on through our land on the way to Poland because to heck with Poland. Sorry, Polish people out there. I have nothing against you, but for whatever reason, everyone in Hamlet does. Goodness. Okay, so the ambassadors all leave, and then Polonius comes forward with his idea about why Hamlet is crazy. And his lead-up is one of the funniest, most artistically styled lead-ups in this entire thing. And that's saying something because Hamlet is in this play. Hamlet, who is the drama king of lead-ups in various ways. But just listen to this. Polonius comes in and says, oh, this is great. The ambassadors, am I right? My liege and madam, to expostulate what majesty should be, what duty is, why day is day, night, night, and time is time, were nothing but to waste night, day, and time. And he goes on like that for just quite a long time. Check this out. Look at that. He goes on for quite a long time. I like the queen here. She is a very confusing character in general. We'll talk about her later, but she says, more matter with less art. Just get to the point, Polonius. To which he responds, I have to read this because it's too good. Madam, I swear I use no art at all. That he is mad, 'tis true. 'Tis true, 'tis pity, and pity 'tis true. Brevity's the soul of wit, huh? When people quote that, I don't think that they realize who they're quoting. It's kind of like to thine own self be true. It sounds so cool as a hipster meme. But when you consider that it's Polonius saying these things, who's himself a buffoon, it takes away some of the punch, you know? Although he is right. So he pulls out this letter. I don't know, I have this piece of paper. Dramatic effect. He pulls out this letter, and it is from Hamlet to Ophelia. Ophelia has given it to him, and he is going to present this letter to the king and queen as evidence that Hamlet is in love with Ophelia, and he's lost his mind because of it. And the letter is a little awkward, and he has a lot of thoughts about it because, as you know, man loves wordplay and also loves being the smartest one in the room. He starts reading, to the celestial and my soul's idol, the most beautified Ophelia. That's an ill phrase, a vile phrase. Beautified is a vile phrase. I like that he's criticizing Hamlet's letter writing ability with his mom right there. I mean, she's the queen. Why would you do something like that? And then apparently it gets all intimate, something about excellent white bosom, so he gets a little flustered there. But he comes back to the point. We get some beautiful poetry in the letter. Doubt thou the stars are fire, doubt that the earth doth move, doubt truth to be a liar, but never doubt I love. Gorgeous! Or it would be if we didn't realize that Hamlet was such a, fill in blank there. The way that he's treated Ophelia so far, not so great. Anyway, Polonius shows the king and queen this letter. Undeniably, Hamlet was interested in Ophelia. That much is clear. And so Polonius says, obviously this is the reason that he's gone insane. The king's not super convinced though, so they need to try some plan to just test it out. And the plan is so Polonius-y. This is the last thing I'll say about this Polonius part, but man, so much to say, so much that I'm skipping over for the sake of time. Okay, so the plan is this. Polonius says Hamlet sometimes walks for hours in the lobby, so when he's doing that, I'll loose my daughter to him. Be you and I behind an arras then and mark the encounter. So essentially, Hamlet's going to be in the lobby. They're going to loose Ophelia. Is she the Kraken? I mean, what kind of language is that? Is she a greyhound? That's the image that comes to my mind. A greyhound race. Loose Ophelia. Just go, Ophelia, go. And meanwhile, while she's being loosed upon Hamlet, thinking the king and Polonius will be behind an arras, which is just a tapestry, a fancy word for tapestry, and they will pay attention and see how he responds and see if love is really the reason why he has lost his marbles. At that very moment when they're talking about it, Hamlet comes in and Polonius says, all right, well, not like Matthew McConaughey, but all right, so I'm going to talk to him and I will show him what's what. I'll figure out why he's crazy. You just go away, king and queen. I'll take care of this. If you have not seen a version of this scene, just pause this video for a second, open up a new tab, and look up this scene with Hamlet and Polonius in one of the movies that has come out. The Kenneth Branagh one is really hilarious. The David Tennant one is super hilarious. But look this scene up. It is so funny. You can't play Hamlet if you can't be a comedian. It's just not possible. Hamlet's pretending to be insane, right, in this, but he is making fun of Polonius just up and down. He says, oh yeah, I know who you are. You're a fishmonger. Which is insulting to somebody who's the advisor to the king. And then he starts talking about his daughter. Hamlet's not a good person. I like Hamlet in the sense that I'm interested in what he does. He's a good character, but he is not a good person. He starts talking about Ophelia in very suggestive ways during this conversation, but ways that are crazy enough that Polonius could go, oh, okay, so he's not actually meaning these things, he's just crazy. But this scene is pretty hilarious. You get one of the best, just short Shakespearean lines here. You get a few, actually. Polonius tries to gather himself together and says, okay, so you appear to be reading, what are you reading? And Hamlet responds, words, words, words. So good. It's just words. You can't get any meaning out of them if you want to go philosophical. If you want to go not philosophical, again, look and watch this scene. It is so funny. And the way that the different actors decide to deliver that line is just, it basically shows what kind of an actor they're going to be in this entire performance. It's so good. And as far as famous lines go, let's cover our bases here. Polonius also says, though this be madness, yet there's method in it. So true. So true. And there's a Hamlet quotation for every circumstance in life, and that one comes up a surprising amount. Hamlet leaves Polonius with this insult, this veiled sort of insult. Polonius says, I'm going to take my leave. Hamlet says, you cannot, sir, take from me anything that I will more willingly part withal. Take your leave? Awesome. Who wanted it anyway? Just so fantastic. Okay, so that's going to be it for today's video. Remember, Monday's video is going to be all about Act 2, Scene 2 with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, who come in, the players, and all of that business, and then the second soliloquy. So stay tuned. If you have not subscribed to my channel, make sure you do so. Not only will there be lots of Hamlet-y goodness, but also English stuff of all kinds, writing tips, just a cool community of people who are really into classics for just the sheer joy of them. Leave a comment if you have anything that you would like to see in future videos, and I will see you next Monday.